Hi friends, and welcome back to another episode of Making Things Fun, Cool, and Sexy. I'm your host, Christine Holly-No, and today's guest is someone I deeply admire for her leadership and advocacy. Pamela A. Kahn, president of Bishop Wisecarver, leads a family-owned company that's been at the forefront of motion technology and automation for manufacturers. They were recently named Manufacturer of the Year by AM Bay Area, which is such a testament to their impact on our industry. In our interview, Pamela and I talked about what it's like running a legacy business while pushing forward with innovation, how automation is reshaping jobs in manufacturing, and why advocacy is so important right now. I can't wait for you to hear this, so let's dive into my conversation with Pamela Kahn of Bishop Wisecarver. Welcome back to another episode of Making Things Fun, Cool, and Sexy, where we explore the people and innovations driving the future of manufacturing. I'm your host, Christine Holly-No. Today, I'm honored to be joined by Pamela Kahn, president of Bishop Wisecarver, a family-owned company specializing in motion solutions for industrial automation. For over 30 years, Pamela has led Bishop Wisecarver with a focus on innovation, resilience, and workforce development. She has not only strengthened the company's engineering expertise, but has also been a champion for U.S. manufacturing, advocating for policies that support the industry. Under her leadership, Bishop Wisecarver has continued to push the boundaries of motion technology, ensuring that manufacturers have the tools they need to automate and scale efficiently. She also received AM Bay Area's 2025 Manufacturer of the Year award. Today, we'll explore how automation is changing the industry, what it takes to run a successful family-owned manufacturing business, and how we can bridge the skills gap in the workforce. Thank you, Pamela, for being here. Welcome to the show. And
I'm so excited. I made the show.
Yes,
this is great.
And your facility is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
You're such an inspiration to me. And again, congratulations on AM Bay Area's manufacturing.
Nice to be acknowledged.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Amazing.
It's been great to see the group grow.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were there.
Part of the founding group. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then went away for a while and now kind of coming back into the fold, so thank you.
Yes, and you know, Bishop Wisecarver, your father started this company and it's a family-owned business. How have you been able to add innovation and still hold on to the legacy?
It wasn't so easy in the beginning. I'm coming up on 34 years here, and when I first stepped through the doors, it was just really antiquated. And so I came to work on SB 198, the Illness and Injury Prevention Plan, IPP, and having to write that, and my dad didn't know how to do it, and so I was transitioning from being a buyer for Emporium Capwells. And so I figured I can figure it out. I'll learn how to do it, and so that's what I came to work for. But we had been an IBM beta site at Emporium Capwells. We were part of Carter Hawley Hale, and I was already doing my job on a computer, which was really unheard of at the time. And so when I came here, the first thing I thought is, we've got to have a website. And everyone told me no. Everyone said, website, what's that? That'll never get used for work. And even if people use it, it'll never get used in industrial B2B. And I said, I think you're all wrong. And I pitched my dad really hard. And so we have a 3-letter URL, because that's all you could have in the beginning. So we have bwc.com, and we built a website, and we were pretty much the first, I think, in our industry to have a website.
No kidding.
Yeah, so, and then we've just continued from there. I like technology. I think it's cool.
I can tell.
I think it's cool, sexy, and fun.
Yes. And I can't even fathom or imagine a company not having a website, but this was 34 years ago.
Yeah,
so.
34 years ago. I mean, we still had a telex machine. We still had a Ditto machine. We did our inventory on Cardex files, like the manual cards. It was mind-blowing. So I've had nothing but fun and challenges, just, you know, bringing technology in to everything. I think it's the hardest things for our new hires. And that's one reason why we have Bishop Wisecarver University. We use a lot of tech to run this company, and so there's a lot of platforms for people to use.
And you said it's challenging for your employees?
I think for new hires, it's a lot to learn. We
Yeah.
run a lot of different software platforms, and so it's a lot for a new employee to learn.
So as the visionary with all these ideas, how do you have the employees embrace all of the change?
I think in reality some do and some don't. And I think that's, I think over time you find who are the right fit to be on the bus. And, we're very much out there as a learning organization, and that we really focus that when we hire new people, it has to be, they have to be people who really like to learn, and they're okay with change, and they want to work with technology, because manufacturing is a technology business.
And that's the way to stay competitive in this
Yeah,
market is
absolutely.
with technology, with automation.
Yes,
And
with automation,
Speaking
exactly.
of automation, can you share a little bit about all these
Sure.
parts we have here?
Yeah, we have a couple different parts here. We sell components to linear guides, which I don't have here, to actuators. So these are all actuated systems. You can see they have a motor mount, and they would get set up to a motor. This is a lead screw. This is our low pro line. I can't really move this one because it's engaged with the screw. But you can see here, this is built on technology that was originally developed by my dad. This is a little bit hard because this is a little tiny size 0 bearing, but he developed this technology making a fertilizer packaging machine for Standard Oil over on the water. And back then they literally they wore like a rain slicker, and they shoveled the fertilizer into a bag. So fertilizer is a byproduct of making oil, of refining oil. And they wanted to make a bag with a handle so that women could bring it home. And so my dad designed the machine, and it kept binding, and it kept going down. So family lore is while watching a Raider game, we were diehard Oakland Raider fans, sitting at the kitchen table, he sketched this out. And what you might not be able to see, it's a double V wheel that encases double row angular contact bearings, and it runs on a 90-degree V track. So if you think about it, if you have a V running over a V, and if you watch my fingers, the outside of the V is going to move faster than the top of the apex. And that creates a self-wiping action. And so he put this together, and we originally made it out of aluminum. Now it's carbon, stainless, or polymer. But he went back and retooled the machine on that, and it worked, and then it became a product line for us.
Oh, wow.
So, and it's a very different, we were in trucker products at that time. So it was a very different market for the company, and it started a whole new division for the company.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but the design of that 90-degree wheel on a 90-degree track, it allows you to do circles. So most of our competitors, I don't want to get too technical here, but they're what they call recirculating ball bearings. And when you have recirculating balls, the actual ball bearings touch the running surface. And if you look at ours, it's encased inside the wheel. This allows a couple things. It allows us to work in really contaminated environments like my dad designed for that fertilizer machine. So whether it's flour dust in baking, or water jet cutting proteins, or textiles, or lumber, or whatever, it pretty much, or welding splatter, can just keep moving through it, right? It just keeps wiping it away. And it'll keep working. So it's a real workhorse and a problem solver for that type. And because the bearings don't touch the running surface, the wheels don't ever die. And in recirculating ball, they'll bring the debris up into what they call the cage, and then it'll it'll seize.
That's awesome.
That's kind of our secret sauce.
So, which industries do you support? You mentioned food, right?
We really support, we're coming into our 75th year, we really support every industry because we're a problem solver. So in almost every industry, there's some sort of and usually it's an environmental problem that needs to get solved. So as I mentioned, it's really dirty, or it has to run super smooth or be really quiet. So if you think about like lab medical devices, you don't want those machines making a lot of noise, right? You want them as quiet.
Yeah.
As you can tell, it's because once again, those bearings, you know, when the bearing is touching the rail, it makes it's a clacking noise.
Yes.
This is, you can hear pretty much silent. Yeah, very smooth, very silent. Energy efficiency is starting to be a big thing. So there's a low resistance against the motor, so it's more efficient to move. So that's starting to be more of an issue. But our technology actually can go really long lengths. We just sold a robot transfer unit. That's our newest product line, 32.5 meters long.
Oh, wow.
So as you can tell, that was a huge installation out on the floor. And that was 14,000 pounds in 2 trucks to the customer to get that done. So we do really long systems. We've done it for Toyota. We've done 160, 200-foot long systems. Once again, the other technology is very expensive to do long because it needs exact parallelism. The other thing about our technology, and I don't want to get too technical here, is we use, you can see it a little bit in this wheel plate. There's 2 concentric bushings and there's 2 eccentric bushings. And the fit-up adjustment is done with the eccentric bushing. That allows what engineers call compliance. Basically, in my terms, it allows there to be woo-woos and it doesn't bind because you can adjust it. And in the more standard forms of technology, you have to keep exact parallelism. So if you think about once you go past 10, 12 feet to grind rail and keep exact parallelism, and then you're going to have to start matching rails, and then you have to grind those matches, and it starts to get very expensive to do long lengths. So we're very economical when you start to go past 12 feet because of our technology.
I think nothing is sexier than a woman who knows her stuff and is so technical and so knowledgeable. This is so awesome.
I could get more technical, but I'll save you all for that.
I love it. And so you just talked about some automation and robots.
Yes, we love robots.
What are your thoughts on robotics and automation? You know, there's a lot of fear that it'll kill a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
Or on the other hand, it's supposed to upskill our employees. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think when it comes to manufacturing, it's not keeping anybody from getting a manufacturing jobs. I think right now we have over 600,000 open jobs in manufacturing in the US, some data like that. I don't know today's numbers, but we have nothing but opportunity. And if you look at the demographics of our country, we're actually going to have less and less workforce coming in. So I don't know how we stay the manufacturing power of the world without automation. I mean, we're gonna have to do it. We don't literally have enough people right now to fill all the jobs. So I think it's gonna save manufacturing in this country. I think it's a great thing. And I also think that robots do jobs that aren't well suited for people. I mean, even out on our floor, you can, you know, where we have highly repetitive tasks, that's not easy on the human brain and it's not easy on the human frame. The body isn't good at those type of things, and that's where you should be using a robot. I mean, who wants to stand at a machine and do the exact same thing over and over and over again?
Exactly.
Let's use humans where their creativity and their mind and their thinking can come into play, and that's what robots allow people to do.
And you're a huge advocate for workforce development. Students come here. This is Bishop Weiscarver University, so you love humans. It's not like you want to...
I love humans, I love bright young minds. Yes.
So this is great to hear this from you, where you want to create more jobs. And with automation, with robotics, we can elevate these.
And if you think about it, if I'm a student in high school, I don't want to come and actually see a job where I'm going to stand at the machine and do the same thing all day long. I want to come and see a workplace where I get to work and interact with technology, learn how to code, how to program machines, do those type of things. That's engaging to a student now. Students want to be working with the latest technology, and that's what we need.
Correct.
Is to get them excited about that.
I agree with you, and I think that the blue collar is going to be a lot different now. It's not just working at a machine and doing repetitive things.
Yeah, I don't think that's a term that's going to stick around for a long time, because I think with automation, everything is going to be a bit elevated, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also hear that in Germany, the blue collar jobs or manufacturing jobs, they are very high quality jobs. They've been trained since young to.
Well, they have a whole different culture.
Yeah.
I love going to Germany because they do respect the trade so much. I think that's one thing we need to bring back in this country is to actually get excited and really honor people who make things. I think that's what we're losing here. I mean, I love Silicon Valley, I love tech, I love software programming, but we all need things. And somebody has to be behind the machines and the designs of making things. And in Europe, they have a much more respect for the trades. Like when we used to have a telephone book, right? If you were a degreed engineer, they put that in the directory that you were an engineer, right? It was very prestigious. Yes, they have a lot of respect for the trades, and that was one thing I was really hopeful with Governor Schwarzenegger, is he really wanted to bring that culture into the state of California. Unfortunately, I don't think he was able to affect it to the degree he wanted, but having grown up in that environment, he wanted to see that same level of respect here in our state, at least, for people who make things, as they do have in Europe.
And how do you think we can make that shift?
That's a big cultural change, yeah? So, I don't know. I think, what my hope is that when we've had these things like the port shutdowns, when we've seen the impact of supply chain, like in COVID, that, the state of California, the country at large, understands that it's critical for us to be able to have those capabilities within our state and within our country. And we moved so much capability out of our country that I think we've really left ourselves valuable, and we've lost a lot of important skill sets. But I think just with the way the world's going, I get a little bit worried that we don't actually have the ability to make all we need anymore in this country.
I agree.
And so, we'll see what happens with the current administration. Yes. I know the president he has a big preference towards domestic supply chain. The problem is his desire is before the reality. I would love to have 100% domestic supply chain.
Of course.
But as I said, the skill set's no longer here. So I can't go find those supply chain partners in the US right now.
This is exactly what people need to hear, right? Yes, President Trump wants manufacturing to come back. He wants to reshore. Right now, the infrastructure for all of this manufacturing is not here. We've lost so much of our capabilities to overseas.
We've lost foundational capabilities, and I think people are really focused on the CHIPS Act, and that is great because it is critical for us to own the IP and the capabilities around making chips. But if you think about it, chips are sort of almost like they're way up the chain, right? There's so many things that have to get made for like our product. You got to make the bearing. I can't make the bearing in the U.S. I'm searching so hard to find somebody in the U.S. who can do it. I can't find the people with this is a very specialized bearing to make. I can't find any here. Drawing this rail We pretty much moved steel production out of this country. This is a basic thing. If you cannot draw and roll steel forms in this country, that is once again a basic thing to the machine frame. So many different things need that capability. They don't sit in this country anymore. They're in Europe, they're in Asia, but they're not here. So once again, we would love to get this product made here. But we can't. We can't. I mean, I don't have the other product that I'm talking about, but we all, my competitors and we all pretty much have to use the same supplier in Europe.
So, this was decades of offshoring in order for all of this that we
So it's going to take decades to build it back
Correct.
up. And
But if we continue to speak about this and educate the public about where we're really at in manufacturing, because I don't think people realize, we can't make certain things in America anymore. And we need the next generation to help us figure it out and want to figure it out.
And it takes a while to spin it up, right? And I think we all know from, a greenfield project can take decades.
Yes.
When you're building a whole, by the time you go through the permitting, you get the, then you have to get the machines made. You have to factory test the machines. Then you bring the machines in. Then you got to get your production up and going. You don't, let's put it this way, we're not going to build it in 4 years.
No.
That's the problem.
Exactly.
That's the problem. It isn't all going to happen
Correct.
in 4 years.
And that's why we need.
I hope it's an ongoing trend.
That's what I was just going to say.
It can't end with this administration. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. This is what's good for our country.
Correct.
It needs to be an ongoing program because we can't rebuild that strength in 4 years.
Yeah, I get so passionate about this because it's a bipartisan issue, right?
Yeah.
And when we speak about this and, they think that we're on one spectrum, but it's not. We want to create jobs. We want to be able to make things here and not allow other countries to control us. Because when other countries are supplying everything to us, that's not sustainable.
Yes. No.
Yes.
You're preaching to the choir.
I know. But I think when people see that woman who can be glamorous and who knows their stuff really well, I think it breaks that image that blue collar manufacturing is just a dirty job, you know, and I think more people need to see this so that they realize that the next generation should get into it because we actually really need them. We need to make things here again.
And manufacturing's getting pretty clean.
It is.
I mean, the kids, when they come for manufacturing day, are always surprised, like, how clean our facility is. It doesn't have to be dark and dirty anymore in a manufacturing plant.
So share some of your sustainability acts around here and what.
So most recently we went solar. We put solar on the roof and we created the solar carport. So during the summer we're completely off the grid, which is great because we actually we heat treat here as well. So we draw a lot of power. So especially with current rates of energy, we've got a pretty quick ROI on that investment, which is great. So that has been really good. But we've done all new LED lighting. It's all, automatic. If there's no movement, the light goes off. We've got the skylights. Everything's set to try to conserve as little energy as possible. Out on the production floor, we're pretty much closed loop on everything. Our water systems, our cooling systems are all closed loop. Nothing's dispensed there. All of our scrap materials are recycled. And so we try to be very efficient. I think that's the way you exist in California. I mean, honestly, you have to be a pretty good manufacturer to exist in California climate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of California, it's pretty costly here. There's a lot of regulations.
Lots, yeah.
What has inspired you to continue to build here in California?
Well, I mean, my family has really deep roots in California. We came in a wagon from Iowa in 1853.
Oh, wow.
And settled originally up in Healdsburg and then in the Bay Area. And like I said, we're coming up on 75 years. So I don't really think about moving this lightly. once again, like I said, it's a lot of work to move a whole manufacturing plant. It takes a long time to do that. Our productions to make our product are very bespoke, they're very custom, so it would be really expensive to reproduce those lines in a different location. So partly cost keeps me here, family history keeps me here because we've been here a really long time. I don't know, I mean, I love everything about California, but our regulations and our government, really. I mean, I have to say, I travel a lot for work, and every time I fly back, it's like, I mean, the beauty of our state is really outstanding. I mean, the natural beauty we have here, if you think about from Tahoe to Yosemite to Carmel to the Redwoods to Napa to, I mean, wow, there's really no place like that in the world that you get that type of natural diversity and within like a 3-hour radius.
Yeah, we are very, very blessed here.
Yeah.
And you're a huge advocate. You do a lot of advocacy. You work with the government as well to, you know, strengthen manufacturing in our state. How do you balance everything from owning and operating this business to doing all of the other work?
I don't know how often I don't know if I would say I always do it well. I'm trying to get way more selective, so I have recently sort of taken myself off of some things, like with AM Bay Area. I was originally involved and had to pare back, and I was Governor Brown appointed me to the Workforce Development Board for the state. I served on that for quite a few years. I try to put my energy where I think I can start to really move the needle. I like action. I like things getting done, but for me, I'm lucky. It really comes when you have a good team, and I have a great executive team, which allows me to do these things that are more like passion projects. But you know, the team likes it. The team really likes being involved in the community. We have a real focus on working with kids in STEM and robotics, and the whole team loves that. So. That's how I do it. I do it because they give me the space to do it, really.
Awesome. You really inspire me to like do even more.
Well, don't burn yourself out.
I'm trying not to. We're expanding right now, and
I saw that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great.
We keep getting proposals from other states to move there and expand.
Oh, I get asked all the time, and we are still looking at an East Coast location. Because we do bring, as I said, product in from Europe. It'd be nice to have an Eastport location, and most of our customers are east of the Rockies, so it would be nice. But like I said, it's a lot of money.
Yes.
And so
I heard South Carolina right now has a lot of incentives. So
yeah, they all the states. I can tell you, they've all been lobbying me hard. You can negotiate some pretty good deals in other states, and I guess that's where I get sad too, because California just. I think this is where California is missing the ball. I understand that California wants to lead the world with being at the forefront of environment, but like I said, we can't live without manufactured things.
Correct.
And I think it would be a bigger badge for California to actually proudly say that we have the greenest, most efficient manufacturers in the world.
Love it.
Instead, we create policies that drive manufacturing from our state.
Yes.
And while some people cheer at that, the reality is they're moving to places where they don't have to make their product as efficient, as environmentally conscious, which isn't good for any of us.
Correct.
So it's finding that balance. I think California tends too much to be bleeding edge. I think we can get where we want to be being leading edge and not quite so punitive on the manufacturers. And let's keep capabilities in this state. Yes. That's what's really important, because the environment is global. And what a lot of the regulators don't understand is they pass these regulations that as long as we have other countries in the world who do not participate to the same level, I mean, I've read things where 3 weeks of blowover from those countries negate these regulations, which cost billions of dollars for California manufacturers to comply with. So it's really putting an onus, you know, the burden is really high on California. And we alone cannot affect an atmospheric change.
Yes.
Right? But we can have a mind towards it, and instead we could use ways to be, like I said, let's lead in the innovation and the efficiencies and how to be as green as possible as manufacturing, and use that as a badge as a state. Like we do this better than anywhere else in the world, but that doesn't seem to be something that's on the state's radar.
It's not a priority.
And I think that's really sad. Yeah.
But we can make that change.
We're trying.
Yes,
we're trying.
we can make that change.
You know, California Manufacturing Technology Association, which I've been on the board of for a long time, and I chair the small and medium-sized manufacturing committee. I mean, those are the type of considerations we want to get the state legislature to start thinking about. Yeah.
Well, now I am part of CNTA and your committee.
Yes,
so I am
welcome.
ready
I'm so excited for you to start working with us.
I'm ready. I'm ready to rock it with you. And for entrepreneurs and future manufacturing leaders who want to get into manufacturing, what are some advice that you would like to share on how to stay resilient in this industry?
Let's see. I think there's a couple things. Number one, and I said it before, I think you have to really love technology, because manufacturing is getting changed every day.
Yes.
I mean, it's 3.0, now it's 4.0, now we're at 5.0. We have AI, we have robotics coming in. There's so much change happening all the time, and you have to like change, because if you cannot adopt these fast enough, you'll be made obsolete.
100%.
And as we talked about, especially in this state, it'll be hard for you to make money. And, you know, and in the end, we all have to make money to keep the business going, right?
Exactly.
And so I think that's important. I think the other thing is that people, I think, would do well to sort of dismiss that Henry Ford version of manufacturing. That is very, very old style manufacturing, which once again doesn't really jive with what you can achieve with technology. And as we started off, I think it comes back to the people. And one thing the state has is really smart, great, creative, technology focused people. So if you can learn how to tap into that, and you know, you're open to collaboration and cross-functional teams, and looking at other resources in the state like the universities and the colleges and the national labs that we have here, there's really creative, innovative ways to do manufacturing now. Yeah, I think it's really exciting.
Yeah, I think this is like the best time to be in manufacturing.
I do too.
Because there's so much technology being built for manufacturing, because people see that we need to bring manufacturing back here.
Well, manufacturing to me has been very equalized. It's not about brawn anymore, it's about the brains.
Yeah.
And you know, as long as you have a good brain, you can do this now. You don't have to lift anything heavy. Like I said, it's not about being big and lifting big heavy things. It's about thinking big ideas.
True.
And so that's what's fun.
And I always love to close with this question where we get to learn from entrepreneurs' challenges and how did they overcome them. What was a big challenge that you were faced with and it shaped you today? I
think this is a really good question, and I think for me the hardest thing was shifting from being a buyer in retail, where actually until recently I ran a bigger business than when I came here and this company, until just a couple years ago. And so that was really hard for me. I had a lot of autonomy, and the way my job was done with that company, you really were pretty much running your own business. And so I had 12 stores, I had a budget, but I did everything. I did my marketing, I did the IT, I did everything for my class of goods. And coming here, it was hard because, you know, my dad being the founder, you know, that's a big personality to kind of compete with. And so I actually decided never to compete with my dad. You know, we had really different strengths, and I have 3 older brothers, but they're not involved in the business. I've bought them out over time. But they all tried to be another version of my dad. I've never tried to do that. You know what, my strength is the sales, the marketing, the technology. My dad's the engineer, manufacturing kind of guy. And so we worked in parallel for a long time, and you know, he worked here till he was 88.
Wow.
And it didn't really matter because we weren't trying to be in each other's sandbox. But until I really kind of navigated that with him, it was tough. And it was tough when my brothers were here. And at one time, all 4 of us were here at the same time. And that was a lot of family energy.
Yes.
So yeah, that was probably my hardest thing. So what I tell people is I don't think, especially if you're in a multi-gen type of a family, I think what I see with other multi-gens is that next generation is trying to be just a better version of what's currently in place. And I think instead, you just need to be the best version of you and bring new skill sets to the next generation, because there's new technologies, there are new markets. So you're not really even doing the company a service, just trying to be a better version of your dad or your uncle or whatever. And I also advocate use the daughter.
Yes, of course.
Right?
Yes.
Right? The daughter can be the viable next generation as well. And I think that's the other exciting thing I'm seeing is the impact women are making on manufacturing. Women really are changing the way manufacturing's done, which I think is good in a lot of different ways. The type of innovation that's happening, how they tend to lead and lead teams, and I think that's great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I love today's episode.
I love talking to you.
I know, this is so awesome. You're one of my mentors and you inspire me so much.
That's kind of you to say.
Thank you for all you do, and congratulations again for the award.
Thank you very much.
Such a valuable and heartfelt conversation with Pamela. Huge congratulations again to her and the Bishop Wisecarver team for earning Manufacturer of the Year by AM Bay Area. Well, that's a wrap on today's episode. If you or someone you know who would like to be on the show, we would love to have them on. Just drop me an email or shoot me a DM on Instagram or LinkedIn. Details are in the description below. And if you had a blast listening, remember to hit that subscribe button, share the episode, and help spread the love for manufacturing. Until next time, keep on creating, keep on innovating, and always remember to keep it fun, cool, and sexy.